This is Will on the Moderate Thinker channel. Um, got some, predictions to make about this virus, what it's gonna do. It's not so much about only the virus. Obviously, this is impacting a lot of stuff in this country, not just this country, but everything else too. It's global. Um, people are not going to work anymore. Businesses are shutting down. Everything non-essential is basically closed by mandate from the government and the various governments. Obviously, this is taking a toll on the economy, stock market, and everything. This video is particularly about, as time goes on, how this is going to affect the economy, I think. Not so much about the loss of business, not so much about production, income shutting down, taking a hit. This is more if we adjust to the virus over number of years, if they can't get rid of it, we'll have to adjust to it somehow. People will keep dying, people will keep getting infected, people with resistance will, well, if it goes on, if it's like HIV where they can't get a vaccine, they can't really cure it for decades, then it will probably kill a lot of people, men, old, young, even babies, um, except those with some resistance. And we'll just have to adapt, like we have had to for things for thousands, millions of years. But what this is about, I expect urban centers to pour out. They're gonna pour out when resources get low. They have trouble stocking that much crap for millions and millions of people all in one little area, like places like New York, Chicago. Um, they're gonna start to spread out, probably sort of a standard radiating fashion every direction to the surrounding suburbs and um, sub cities, the satellite cities around the big ones. Um, then they'll go counties away and they'll sort of spread out. And I expect that the less populated areas surrounding big cities will, well, either they will get more populated or they'll spread out too. And the countrysides are going to start to fill up. This is going to impact the economy in big ways. Um, right now, everything's taking a hit. But if we adjust, if we start to get going again, at some point we will, even if we can't cure the virus, we will have to keep business going. We will have to go back to work. Um, because there's just so many people that we cannot survive if we don't. So it gets to this decision where we die from the virus or we die from starvation and exposure to the elements, third world conditions, lack of power, water, probably that's in clothing, and or at least will be reduced to something like the second world where we're recycling parts from all the electronic gizmos we fucking threw away and or had stuffed away in a basement somewhere. I expect sort of a there'll be a change. The places where people go to get away, there will be more people. People will run and run and run away from the epicenters of these outbreaks until they catch on. Either they'll cure it or they'll catch on that it's just going to keep spreading. It's always going to pop its head up in their neighborhood. Things will be different. Social life, the way people work, the way they work together, the way they gather together, it's all going to be different. But as the cities pour out, those big cities will get smaller. A lot of those buildings will be either repurposed or eventually torn down. probably more open spaces, fewer people. That might be good for those cities because it's so many fucking people. That's why people are crazy in the city. It's like the Mouse Utopia experiments where they crammed all these mice together in one space, made sure they had food in the little tanks, kind of like the little grocery stores, but they just went nuts. It wasn't natural. It was not where they belong. We'll see sort of like the developed rural centers. So, the little rural cities where they just little busy places and there's like a big neighborhoods and stuff like that. Or neighborhoods kind of like cul-de-sacs of, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like cul-de-sacs of pieces of land, like 5 acres. The homesteads, I expect. Because as production shuts down, if it stays down, obviously major corporations that we depend on now that we have to keep functioning, they're going to grow in the absence, the power vacuum of um, all the little stuff that shut down. But if that's not enough, or people don't want it, don't like it, they're gonna have to find a way over some years to start doing like a home production thing where they mostly make well, they maybe not mostly, but they make their own stuff. We may even see little shop factory operations like craftsmen's homes like they used to have back in way back, where they got a homestead, they got a little farm, they got a little workshop, maybe they got a couple employees to go there making I don't know, something that just for the community to sell. These aren't hard predictions, solid predictions. It really depends on how things go. If they knock this thing, if they get a vaccine in the next year, okay, it might be different. It wouldn't be so different from what it has been. But this is like a meteor hitting our whole way of life. And even if it subsides and everything kind of levels off, gets stable again, it's going to leave some residual situations that it's going to change the way things progress. But I think as the big populated areas start to pour out so that people can get away from all these places, as they catch on, they know it's like too many people, everybody's going to get it. Especially with places like New York and places in California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, already bad shape in California to begin with, and then this, and it's just, and then people are going to pour out in the countryside. There's going to be conflict too. There's going to be clashes. People are not going to want everybody coming into their neighborhood. They're going to be afraid of people bringing the virus to their town, their street. There's going to be some sort of cultural, almost like the typical special racial tension that we see, which, I mean, you say what you want about tolerance and stuff like that. It'd be great if it was a perfect world, but it's just nature. You know? People favor their own kind. And that's going to count for people from New York pouring out into the states around them. People from New England going west and south. There could be a little bit of clash. Might not be the worst thing. If stress is high and everything is under a lot of pressure, there'll be more clashing. But at some point, years down the road, I think, as those who are going to do what they do it, and it's sort of, they adjust, they fit in over time, people will find a new way, and we'll see sort of a spread out. I think that the economy, the business, the communities, they're going to be a little more even across the land in North America. And I'm mostly speaking about the United States. But this might kind of happen with other places too. Rural places will get less rural, a little bit more modernized, kind of mid rural, urban. Well, not really urban, but the the more developed rural stuff, where they got a little bit of stuff going on, they'll probably see a little more development if we can get going again, where we can start developing with some pace. And I think there's going to be a lot of people trying to grab land if they can get it out in the middle of nowhere. We're going to see whole new towns, whole new places, maybe whole towns popping up over the next 50 years, 60 years, 70 years as a result of this. I know you say that's a long way away. Maybe it doesn't matter to you today. I'm just trying to give you sort of an idea. As for what I can tell you to help yourself, if you can make it through the chaos, well, you could probably, I mean, honestly, you don't have to be like a badass survival movie hero to get through the chaos. You shouldn't have to. You could be, if there's gonna be chaos because of all this stuff, 'cause I do expect that um, before things get stable again. Probably more so in the more heavily populated areas. But you kind of do what Jesus was talking about. He called his mission, his whole thing, the path of life. If you're not capable of, running as a big dog, winning every fight, you could put yourself in danger just trying. So you might want to take the Christian, you know, the things Jesus said, the nice give up and stay alive way of doing it. But after that, I would say if this situation hits the economy so hard, and we will start to need to recycle parts and things like that that we have been getting everywhere else, namely China, which we're not getting now. We got to use what we've got laying around. We will need the things that we have needed for so long. Um, give you an example. I'm learning how to mess with some makeshift stuff. I'm trying to learn electronic stuff. I just got some books. If you got any money, if you don't have any books on anything like that, I recommend getting a hard copy book. Um, or if you got ebooks that you can learn with, get one of those solar chargers that you lay out in the sun, folds out. I got one. It charges the phone. Um, you can't read your dozens or hundreds of electronic books without a device with power. Um, and you need that information. But you can learn how to do things yourself that can allow you to have things or make things to get things that you want, trading it or to use it in your work. And I think as more people get hard pressed to find a solution themselves, they would start to kind of learn skills that they didn't have before. They go from being a cashier to having to learn how to do something and make something. And I think that actually could be a, I hate to say anything about this is good, but that could be a good thing. That could save us in the future because we just basically, for the past couple of years, we've been pissing off China. They've been making all our shit. We're on the verge of some kind of real fucking situation with them. And we are at a gross disadvantage because we have basically, well, compared to them, we got no fucking talent, no fucking discipline, no sense of what is hard or good in life, ungrateful. We've become a hedonistic fucking society overall. Not every person. There's good people that have been trying. Now, I've been listening to some good people on the internet bitching, complaining, yelling, cussing, wishing, praying that shit would change, but nobody fucking cares what they think. Now they're gonna have to. They're learning the hard. They're gonna learn the hard way. And as people have to learn skills to do shit for themselves and make things out of crap themselves, that might prime us to actually make an economic and industrial comeback. Because we've gone a couple generations with nobody really having to know how to do shit. Because we moved everything to other countries. Now we want to bring it home and do it ourselves, which we should have been doing in the first place. It would be a lot safer, more secure. We wouldn't have this kind of shortage issue, this economic collapse issue in a situation like this if we did shit ourselves and did the work and hit the grind. And believe me, I'm the pot calling kettle black. But at least, you know, I know. I'm glad I know now because I'm hitting the books. And as people learn skills, we'll have more people that have skills, and that will allow us to save something. So get to it. And I'm serious about the chaos and the panic. Well, the chaos and the violence it's probably gonna happen, and the clashing, and people are gonna die. They're gonna die from each other. They're gonna die from the virus. Probably the worst thing is just the people, and it happens because we're so spoiled and weak and undisciplined and don't know how to do anything hard or stressful. We never had to deal with this. This used to be the like normal. Pandemics like this was like the way it was for a long time before we started curing everything. And in terms of evolution and shit like that, the development of civilizations and the growth of civilizations, these things kind of have to happen. We've been overdue, and we probably fucking deserve it. And we probably need it in the long run. I hate to say that, but it's true. So try not to get desperate with your spoiled, rich, comfortable ass and panic and do something stupid, get yourself hurt or hurt somebody so that you can have a little something you miss. But yeah, and for real, like find God or something, cause you just anyway. I'm gonna. I hope I hope this helps somebody, and stay safe, stay smart, stay good. Don't start problems. Don't start problems, cause tensions are high. And do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's really most of really what Jesus was about. You know, don't make shit worse, and everybody don't fuck everything up. But anyway, that's I'm gonna tie it up there. Mm. So be good.